What's up, guys? Welcome to Jam Movies, and today we're super excited to talk to you about Raiders of the Lost Ark. So, super excited to talk to you about this today. One of my favorite movies, and probably one of my favorite series of all time, Indiana Jones. And one thing that I always thought that was super cool about Indiana Jones is he's just your regular guy, right? You know, archaeologist, and the things he's able to do and the adventure he takes us on is just unbelievable in every movie. But we're talking about the classic here, Raiders, right? I remember the first time I watched the movie was actually at my grandparents' house. They had a VHS, one of those blank VHS tapes, and they recorded it off the TV.
Okay, yeah.
And obviously there was commercials you had to fast forward through and stuff like that. But I was still mesmerized, and then I found out that there was more of them because I seen these back in like probably the late 90s, we'll say. And what a movie it was, really. And the budget, let's talk about the budget for this movie.
So the budget was, I believe, $20 million, and they broke out by the end of it $389 million, I believe, which I think was great for the what they did with the movie, the action scenes,
Absolutely.
every
aspect of the movie.
Yeah, it was like they spent their money well in it, and it's a high budget, but for its time especially. But they killed it, and they blew it out of the water, and the box office sales speak for itself.
Oh yeah, when you get Spielberg together with George Lucas, they make magic. We can already see this, right? This is where we got this movie from in the first place, right? And Spielberg too. I mean, you're a big fan of some of his classics as well, right? Jaws.
Yeah, Jaws, Jurassic Park. E.T. is good. I have to watch that more. I haven't watched it.
I always forget about E.T. Every time people bring up Spielberg, I always forget about E.T. And how could I? It's an amazing movie. But we're not talking about E.T. today.
Yeah.
Let's.
So, yeah, I think he did an amazing job with the movie. I would say it's getting me more into adventure movies. I like how he picked Harrison Ford to be the main actor, like you were talking about. He was just so macho, but at the same time, he had a heart. Like when he thought the girl died in the movie, he was like all upset and like disappointed in it himself for not being able to protect her.
Yeah.
And what else could I go with? His whip, like he's just a normal
archaeologist.
Yes. Now going into Tom Selleck, what do you have to say about him?
You know what? Like, obviously, they made the wise choice of picking Harrison Ford. I don't think. I mean, you can say what you want. Maybe it would have been a different movie. Maybe it still would have been the success that it was. But when you think Indiana Jones, I can't think of anybody else that I'd want in that title role, than Harrison Ford.
Yeah, it's like in any classic. Once you've seen that person play it, you can't really see anyone else replace it, especially for certain movies.
Yeah.
But keep going, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's just. I mean, that was their original choice. Thank God there was that conflict with Tom Selleck, with his scheduling. I think it was with the
TV series.
It was TV series, yeah. So that's, I mean, everything happens for a reason, right? Actually, it's funny that you mentioned that. I just read somewhere the other day that Will Smith was supposed to be Neo.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
No, I don't think that would work. So, it's one of those things where could it have worked? Possibly, but now you have that actor as that character of so and so whatever movie, right?
Yeah, exactly, right. You just get, I guess, more accustomed and you get used to it, that you don't really think about who else could play it, and you never could visualize it, right?
Let's go into Harrison Ford now. What do you think how he was as an actor in the movie and his character in the movie?
Oh no, he portrayed like whatever character they designed and made out of Indiana Jones. He played it to a T. He was that charismatic, smart professor. At the same time too, he gets out there in the open in the adventure, and he starts cracking that whip, and he's smart, and he brings all that to the table. Like the opening scene with the temple. Like how many people went through that and never made it to the idol. He made it all the way through, and it was believable too, right? And again, too, the audience can I guess you can say they understand somebody like Indiana Jones more because he's just your average guy. He's an action star in this movie, but he wasn't like Arnold Schwarzenegger, big buff guy, or Sylvester Stallone at the time. He was just your average guy, kind of like Bruce Willis and Die Hard.
Yeah,
I agree, just your average guy.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I agree too. I liked how Harrison Ford was a treasure hunter and like at the same time was a brilliant guy because typically, for treasure hunters you have to be smart. Yes, you do. But usually they have a bunch of soldiers for
those types of scenarios.
Yeah, to do all the grunt work. And no, he was all by himself, doing it by himself with Maureen, but most of it by himself. And he was just an average Joe, like you were saying, smart average Joe, but he knew how to crack a whip, he knew how to shoot, and he knew how to get through traps and explore.
Yeah. And that's we talk about the treasure hunting. I love that aspect of the movie. I love treasure hunting movies. Right down to the Goonies to Pirates of the Caribbean, whatever you want to name it. Or even on the Uncharted movie, which I know some people don't like, but whatever. I like those treasure hunting movies. I like when there's clues to follow and certain ways to get through the traps and stuff like that to the grand treasure. And I also think it was funny how Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones kept saying how he wanted to make sure that whatever they find goes into the museum. It was important for it to be in the museum. So there's that archaeologist thinking, professor, I want this preserved, even though, you got, in this case, the Nazis going after the Ark itself, right? Yeah. So, and actually, let's say we want to talk about the Ark. I thought that was super cool with, how it was, a piece of history, but then you made it into a movie, right? So you had the tablets from Moses, and I thought that was super cool too. Very well done, well crafted. The Nazis adding that element to it too, right? Because who are the more bigger villains than the Nazis, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So going back to the puzzles, I think it was great. Like it, you kind of feel like you're doing the puzzles with or Harrison Ford. Sorry.
See, even you're thinking about Tom Selleck.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like I liked how it was a puzzle and an adventure that you were going on with the character. You felt like you were part of it. The one point where he was taking sand out of the bag, trying to guess that it was the right amount, so the traps wouldn't be set off and whatnot.
And speaking of the sand base, sorry to cut you off there, but every time I watch that scene, I'm like, that's not enough sand, it's such suspense. But go on, I had to add that.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to go straight into talking about scenery, outfits, and location. So what did you think about like the aesthetic of the movie and the outfits?
Oh no, it was great. The Indiana Jones iconic outfit, right, which we see here in the poster. That's I would never be able to ever think of anything else for that, outfit for that character. The rest of the movie, it all fit, right down to the Nazis, to the museum folk and the student. Everything was perfect. The sets were perfect. I wouldn't have changed a thing. To be honest, it's almost a near perfect movie.
I agree.
And I won't say perfect because I haven't really come across much perfect movies, right? But it's near perfect, 100%.
Yeah, so I agree with that. I like the whole outfit, his cowboy hat, his whip, his gun holster and everything. He had the perfect outfit and attire for what he was doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And even you see the different culture and how they dressed accordingly to the culture, the scenery of all the desert and like and building and stuff like that. It was beautiful. I liked the way they did it, especially for its time. And the budget was pretty high for its time too, but that's a lot of work and time, especially to get all these people together to make such a movie.
Now, like we discussed all of that, but let's discuss the main thing here, the story, which really, really was a rich story, right? It had everything. It had car chases, it had gunfights, it had fist fights, it had treasure hunting, you name it, it was in the movie. It's like a man's man movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody can enjoy it, but you know what I mean. It was just that,
yeah. Yeah, I think going with the man's movie, I think it's a kid. Like if a kid were to watch it, he's like, "That's my idol. That's what I want to be when I'm older.
Yeah.
I want to be a treasure hunter."
I wanted a whip.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's cool. It's like an extension of your arm, right?
Yeah.
And he used it perfectly in a lot of scenes to climb up stuff or whatnot. And yeah, the story was just phenomenal. It kept me always on suspense, entertained, and like rewatching it. It doesn't feel like a burden by any means.
No, rewatch value is huge.
Yeah,
here.
and that's like for adventure movies that I really don't like that genre for the most part. It kept me entertained, and it keeps wanting me to it keeps the replay value, and I can't complain about that. Do you have anything else to add about the story? And
I will say that this out of actually, I'll say about this whole series. We'll say this story was probably the best story out of the series.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's not my favorite Indiana Jones movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually more partial to Temple of Doom now, but that's for a later story.
Mm-hmm.
But the story itself was phenomenal. I still haven't seen an adventure movie like this come out in the last few years, although they've tried, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, there's really not too much negative you can say about Indiana Jones. You know, either you like it or you don't, but I think it's for everybody.
Yeah.
I think everybody can enjoy it.
I agree, yeah.
Right? And
So you pretty much finished talking about how you enjoyed the storyline, what he did with it. You're about to pretty much rate it, so let's just get straight into it. Let's do the Jammeter.
the Jammeter, here we go.
Okay, you take it first.
You know, I'm gonna have to go with a 98% on the Jammeter.
98.
I couldn't give it a perfect score because I don't think I've come across a movie with a perfect score. We'll go with 98 because it's almost there. Obviously, there's going to be some flaws here and there, and I still have to rewatch it again to even see any of those flaws. But phenomenal movie. I'll watch it year and year again. Never get tired of it. I love the whole series, but this is where it started, right? You gotta appreciate the OG here.
Yeah.
What do you give it on the Jammeter?
Okay, so I like the movie a lot. Don't get me wrong; it's a good adventure movie, but I haven't watched many to give it a solid rating. But I'd give it a 90%. Does it deserve more? Maybe after 2 or 3 more times watching it. But I thought it was amazing. The acting, the storyline, the way that they did the adventures, the outfits, everything was perfect almost.
Super.
Yeah, I can't off the top of my head say anything that I found too corny, too cheesy, or just why did they put it in there sort of thing. So I give it 90%. I think this is the highest we've rated so far.
So thanks for joining us, guys, on our discussion of Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. We really had a lot of fun discussing this with you and with my buddy Johnny here. Until next time, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and thanks for jamming out with us.